If you're struggling to figure out color mixing and knowing which colors to use, how much of each color, and then especially forgetting what you mixed when you have to walk away from your drawing, then what I'm going to share with you in this video is going to be of great help for you. I'm going to show you my best color mixing strategy that is so helpful for finding the right color, and especially with the more complicated colors that need 4 or more colors to get the right results. And it's going to be the easiest way for you to follow and remember, so that when you walk away from your drawing and come back later, you won't be struggling to try and remember what you mixed and how much. Let's get right into it. The first thing that I like to do when I'm trying to mix colors for a drawing and I have no idea what colors I need to use or how much, I need to totally just hash out all of my options and figure out exactly what's going to work. So I take out a sheet of scratch paper. Make sure that the sheet of scratch paper is just some cut up extras of the actual drawing paper you're going to be using for your drawing. This is important because you want to be able to ultimately get the same amount of layers that you could possibly get in that paper, so that if you are mixing any colors that you happen to max out the maximum amount of layers you could apply to that paper before it won't take anymore. That way you know that that method of whatever colors you mixed is not going to work and you need to find another method. And also it's important so that when you are adding your layers, the layers go down the same. If you're using a different kind of paper, like a more textured paper, but for your drawing you're planning on using a smooth type of paper, this is going to really interfere with how those colors mix and blend together. And of course it's also going to change the look a bit because the paper is more textured. Now in mixing colors, you're going to be mixing on this sheet of scratch paper. You want to try and pick out the colors that you think are going to work and then just start practicing mixing them. So add a little swatch here and there of one color, add other colors on top of that to see if that kind of matches what you're going for. Then you want to get another sheet of paper, the same drawing paper. This one though, you want it to be a little bit larger because you want to have space to put a lot of different swatches. Now what you're going to do with this larger sheet of paper is copy the same type of swatches you just put on that scratch paper. So ideally this is best to go along and do this at the same time that you're mixing colors, because there are some colors that are a little difficult to mix, and also you're going to be trying a lot of different things and you want to be able to keep track of exactly what steps you took with each of those colors you were trying to mix. So this way you can put them all onto this larger sheet of paper and in basically chronological order of exactly what you started with, what you put on next, and exactly how much of each layer. But you're going to put that down of each color that you used, and you're going to put exactly the pressure amount. So try to remember how much pressure you applied when you applied that layer and showcase exactly how much or about of that color you particularly added. And then to help yourself out even further, I feel like it is really good to label the names of each color, just so that if you happen to walk away from your drawing for a number of days, it actually becomes pretty difficult to remember what colors you mixed and what layers, and then also the color names, because some of those colors look a little similar. But this way you don't lose track of anything that you mixed or those colors. You have it all right there on this sheet, and if any of those colors that you tried don't work out, you can simply just cross off the ones that didn't work and just leave the ones that worked alone, so you know that those are the ones that you used. And when I do this, I like to have the color result that I want on the left side, and then everything else after that are all the colors that I used and in the order that I used to achieve that color. That way the color on the side is easier to see and match to exactly what I'm trying to look at in that reference if I'm comparing it. Instead of having them more in the middle where it's not on the edge, it's going to be a lot harder to be able to compare those colors because they're not right next to each other as they will be if it's on the edge of that paper. This is so handy to use when you're working with greens or greenery, that you happen to be drawing leaves or other more complicated subjects that require a lot of colors. Greens, in my opinion, are a little difficult to draw just because there are a bunch of different colors that are required to get the right colors, and depending on where the leaf is shaded, there's going to be different colors used for that also. So this is a great way to be able to keep track of what you need for each color type, so the highlights, the midtones, and the shadows, and exactly what colors you used, the order you used them, and how heavy those layers were that you applied. If you guys found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends so that your friends can know a really easy way to be able to mix colors and keep track of everything that you did so you don't forget. And if you want to learn more about color mixing, click into this video right here on the screen. I go over my method of how I keep my colors so that color mixing and knowing which colors to use after you've tried one is a lot easier to keep track of, and you end up with the correct results a lot faster. I also talk about some other tips that are very helpful for color mixing. I will see you guys in the next video.